Hi guys, Dave here, my buddy Ghost. Walking around through the woods, my nephew Kane here has suggested that maybe we start a video about lighting fires in wet conditions. Now, as I understand it, it's been raining here in Muskoka pretty much all week long, and for the most part it's been raining for the better part of a month. So we're going to gather up some materials and give her a try starting a fire in wet conditions. Thankfully we have a nice sunny day because my camera's not waterproof. In theory, everything that we're going to do should work in the rain as well. So we're going to shoot it in nice weather, but you know, take my word for it, it's been raining a lot. So first of all, we need to gather up some materials. So let's go do that. All right, so first of all, you want the driest tinder that you can possibly get. A really good dry tinder, even when it's raining, unless it's really pouring down, is the lower branches of a pine tree. They're up off the ground. They're usually dead and fairly dry even when it's raining. And pine has a resin in it that is very flammable. So it's definitely good in all weather conditions. So you want small, like twigs, and then some pencil-sized ones as well. So, and normally you small ones. Whoop. And after you're done gathering the small ones off the branches, you've got your pencil size there. So sort of a one-stop shop. You're gathering your fire starting. I think that'll be good enough for demonstration purposes at least. All right. So that's a start. So the next thing on the shopping list is something that'll take a spark or even a flame from your lighter a little easier. My go-to is birch bark. And you can gather a fair bit of birch bark off of one tree, generally, without hurting it, because birch regularly sheds its bark off. So if you just grab the little pieces that are hanging off, peel it back a little bit, you'll expose the fresh new bark underneath the old stuff. So not destructive to the tree at all. I wouldn't go so far as to say, hey, you're helping the tree out by helping it shed, but you're definitely not hurting it. What you don't ever want to do is to take your knife and carve off large sections, because you will kill the tree. Where we are has been my regular campsite probably since I was about 10 years old. So I definitely do try to take care of this area. I try to keep it clean. And I try not to kill any live trees at all, especially the birch, because it's very handy. Now, birch trees also have a flammable resin inside of them, so it will start fire even when it's wet. You might need a little persistence, but it will still start fire. The pine resin is a little more flammable than the birch resin, but still pretty punky wood there, but we might be able to get something out of that. Okay, so we've got our paper-like catching a spark type tinder, we have our small tinder, and then we have our tiny pencil-sized kindling. I think we should be able to get a fire going with that. All right, we're back at my fire pit. Got our birch bark, twigs, pencil-sized kindling. Something else that can be fairly useful is pine pitch, and you usually find that pretty easily, and it is quite flammable. I'm not going to mess with that today because I'm only in the woods for a short period of time, and then I have stuff to do, family stuff. I don't want to be all dirty, full of pine pitch, whatever, while I'm out and about. Yeah, if you're around pine trees, pine pitch also works very well for getting a fire started. So you want to take your birch bark and process it down. You really want to rough it up. Get it as fibrous as possible. The smaller you can break it down, the more likely it is to catch a spark quickly. This stuff is a little bit wet. It has been raining an awful lot. We were out for Halloween last night, trick-or-treating, kind of whatnot, all the kids. And not only did it pour down rain most of the night, it also started snowing, kind of a slushy, sleet snow. And, well, the very next day, it's not even noon yet, it's still late morning. We're out here doing this. All right. You know, it's a real shame. Every time the camera turns off, there's a red-tailed hawk calling down over there. Every time the camera's on, he just stops. Maybe he's trying to be polite, but it'd be nice to get that sound on camera. And there we have it. Fire from a fire steel from my buck Selkirk in wet weather. So, why didn't I use leaves? Well, even when they're on the trees and they appear to be dry, they still hold moisture. This thing is really, really dead. You'd almost think it might be dry, but it's from the ground, so it's malleable. It's very, very wet. Even on a tree, it's going to hold moisture. Why didn't I use grass? Same basic thing. Grass no matter how dead it is, still holds on to a lot of moisture in all but the driest conditions. Pine needles. Well, they are kind of difficult to process down, even though, even green, they do burn fairly well. But they are a little bit difficult to process down to catch a spark. So if you've got dead pine laying around with pine needles on it or whatever, yeah, sure, that'll get you a nice smoky fire. They do have some of the resin in it, so they'll definitely help once you get a fire to actually build it up to a full bonfire. But for actually catching a spark, I've had limited luck getting it to do that. So my go-to is definitely birch bark. So fairly easy, fairly quickly, fire in wet, cold conditions in the woods. Hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that helps somebody someday. Catch you in the next video.